So we're going up into the attic, and the attic can be a creepy place at times, but it can also be a very interesting place because this attic has been pretty much untouched, except for people coming up to get Christmas decorations and Halloween decorations. It's been untouched since I was a kid. And we're going to come up here and see what kind of toys we can discover. Toys that I probably haven't put my hands on in about 25 years. Maybe more.
First, I need to ask, what is this?
Oh, our first toy. So this guy, I forget his name, right? He's a Ninja Turtles action figure. He was a dinosaur that went on a skateboard. And on his tail, there's a little roller skate. Well, my dad has him here attached to this string that goes over to the light so that he can pull the string and turn out the light. So
that's cool.
That's what this guy's being used for right now. If anyone remembers his name, comment below. But let me tell you first, as we're coming into the attic here, this area in the middle used to be clean. I had a little carpet down here, an old school TV, and a Nintendo Entertainment System. I remember sitting here on my Mario chair playing Hogan's Alley on NES. So right as we're coming up, there are some things that I found when I was getting Christmas decorations out. And one is this Darth Vader helmet. It's not incredibly retro. I want to say it's probably from about maybe 20 years ago or so. So it's still, you know, it's old, but it's not exactly from my childhood. It's something I got as a near adult. We have a gun. And this one, it looks like it's from the 12-inch G.I. Joe action figures. The newer ones, the ones that came out in the 90s. Not newer now. Now, we also found some interesting cards here, right? Here's Lieutenant Barkley from Star Trek The Next Generation. And this one is actually a space cap, aka a Pog, that you can take out. Then we have Commander Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. For some reason, there is a Rick Astley cassette tape card in there. And a trading card of Ambassador Sarek. Now, as we're looking over here, this is pretty cool. This is from Star Wars. And this is a play set. This was Yoda's, where Yoda lived, right? And it's still somewhat in one piece for the most part. A little bit of dust in there. You can see his stump with his bowl on there. And this was from a horse, I believe. Now, it's one of two things. Okay, let's look at the back of it. It doesn't say a date. But I believe it's either from the Lone Ranger or from the Johnny West play set. I can't remember from which. Now, one thing I used to love, and I still do, was slot cars. Now, this was one that I got once again, not as an adult, but probably as a teenager. The ones I had as I was a little younger than that were the ones I really liked. They were smaller slot cars. They would kind of go with the HO scale trains. But these tracks were pretty cool, the electric slot car tracks. I'm tempted to put that thing back together. And here we have Luke Skywalker in his land speeder, right? And this was the old land speeder. Let's look for the date on this thing. The date is, I don't know. I hear voices outside, though. Unless they're coming from the attic. Either way, it's pretty creepy. The front opens up. And there's Luke Skywalker. Now, I mentioned in a previous video, Kitty World. And if I remember right, I actually got this Luke Skywalker action figure at Kitty World. I have a vague recollection of that. And you can see it's the Luke Skywalker where his hand has already turned into Darth Vader after he cut off Darth Vader's hand in battle. The year on this guy, he's very dusty, 1983. Now the area of interest is actually over here. As we're getting Christmas decorations down the other day, I saw a box back here, and I looked in it, and it had some toys that I had not seen since I was a kid. And I closed it back up because I just briefly looked inside, and I kind of wanted to keep this for a video reveal of what is in this box. Was it this box here? No, that wasn't it. It was actually this box right here. Okay, so I got this box out here in the open, and here we are for the big reveal. Let's see. Oh, pull that up, pull that up. Oh, wow. Now, right off the bat, I see some very cool things. Let's move this back a little bit, Alex, so I can push this down. Right, got the top open. So right off the bat, I see a Radio Shack RC car, the Red Fox. Now, I think we got to put some batteries in this thing and see if this thing still works. It says wheelie action. And this is one of the RC cars that is hooked up to a cord. And yeah, look, the controller is right here. Red Fox by Radio Shack. This is a classic right here because I don't know if Radio Shacks are still in existence, but if they are few and far between. So we definitely got to put some batteries in this thing and get it going. So looking back down in here, I see a Transformer, okay, an original. And these Transformers, they had the sticker. I don't know if they still do that, but you would put your thumb on this sticker and it would change color. Does it still work? Let's see. Kind of a little bit. But this guy would change into a panther. So he would come like this. His back feet come into like panther legs like this, right? And then his head goes down. And this comes up, and there it is. That goes back, and boom, there we got. Pretty cool. And you can leave his head up like that and have him, you know, kind of be a dog man transformer. Okay, so here we go. Look at this. A McDonald's Happy Meal lunchbox. It's still got the old Fry Guy stickers on there. There's the Hamburglar Grimace. And it looks like it's from 1988 McDonald's. So this is a classic right here. And there's a cool scene on the back. We have the Fry Guys going up to the McDonald's schoolhouse. Now, it sounds like there's something in this. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we had in here that I have put in here probably, like I said, 25, 30 years ago and have not taken out. Ooh, I see some classics. So this is from Masters of the Universe. This went in, I remember it went in a thing, and if I remember right, it would kind of spin around. It was basically something that like He-Man would practice on, like hitting. Okay, we have Skeletors Staff, also from Masters of the Universe. And let's see if we can, I don't want to put any strain on the plastic here, so I'm just going to put it like that. We have one of the Snake Man's staff, also from Masters of the Universe. Then, He-Man's sword. This is original. Okay, this is a cool thing, and some people might be like, what is this? This is actually a weapon from a toy collection called the Supernaturals. And the Supernaturals were awesome. They were like these paranormal themed action figures that had holograms in them. And there were like holograms of witches, and there was a couple of other ones that I remember, and I have some of them downstairs that I found out too long ago. But this was one of their weapons, and it would actually glow in the dark. So we'll see if we come across any more supernatural things. Here's a blast from the past. Micro Machines. Used to love these things, had a whole collection of them. All right, a little further, we have the Muscle Men. Okay, these were some of the second edition. The original ones were like this, right? And then they came out with the ones that were different colors. So I had a bunch of these Muscle Men, a bunch of different Muscle Men. This is from a He-Man figure. It was a cowboy, I forget his name. If you remember, comment below. It went on his knee, and it was like a kneecap that would open up, and it have a gun in there, right? Okay. Then, perhaps another Micro Machine. Not 100% sure. All right, talking about Supernaturals. This was from the Supernaturals. This guy was a... Now, they had ones that were like witches, that were like kind of like floating ghosts. And then they had ones that stood up, that had legs and arms. And this was from one that was a skeleton, a creepy hologram guy. And this was his breastplate. Okay? There's another Supernaturals weapon. It's the hammer. This was to a guy, if I remember right, he looked like Thor. He kind of had a Thor helmet. Okay? This, let's set that aside. This was actually one of those Velcro balls that you would throw at a target, and it would stick to the target. Okay, we got some more Muscle Men. I remember these play robots. They were just kind of like plastic army men. That's it. One of the Snake Men from He-Man. This would go on the back of him. There was another piece that went on the front, and when it came apart, he was all snakes. This is an arm from one of the Supernatural figures. Okay, this was like one of the little witches. It was like a cloak that went over a hologram thing, and hopefully we'll come across one of those. A He-Man weapon. It looks like one that was kind of a generic He-Man weapon that came with quite a few. I remember Moss Man used to have one of these. And then the Supernatural sword. This one would have gone with this arm, with the figure that had this arm. This was to a robot. A big rubber one that would stick, you know, he'd go together, and this was his hand. And if I remember, they'd come apart and be like vehicles. Like his hand was kind of like a plane. Okay, and every part of him was something, if I remember right. And then we have a toy dinosaur. Some little Civil War soldiers. He-Man. And these guys, they're so familiar. They drove vehicles, but they really slipped my mind as to what they were, what the collection was. But pretty neat looking in here and seeing these things that I remember playing with, but have probably not touched, and like I said, about 25 to 30 years. Oh, and when I was in Price's Corner, I mentioned ordering the Joker and Batman from the original Batman movie, the 1989 movie. There's the Joker's hat. Quite possibly from JCPenney's. That looks like a pound puppy, is it? I don't know.
It's one of the... I have two of these, but they're like newer.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
But this one's more cute.
I think this one might have been one at a St. John's Carnival. St. John's Carnival. I'm not sure. This is a remote control dog. Okay, he used to just bark, and he had a little one-button wired controller, and he'd walk, and he'd stop, and he'd yip. Okay. This was from, there were two big figures. One was a ninja that wore this and a ninja mask, and one was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know what movie they were from. Was it like Contra or something like that? I don't know. But I'd love to come across those figures. Okay, we have another McDonald's bucket.
This is
from McDonald's Happy Meal. That's from McDonald's too, a bendy fry. Not quite as old as some of the other stuff, but
1989.
What I set aside this little ball earlier, right? This little Velcro ball, and I see what it goes to. It goes to this. This is something you would wear on your hand, and you would try. You'd have that on your hand, and someone would throw the ball and try to hit the target, and then they'd have one on their hand that you would take off and try to throw it back. It's amazing that that is still in one piece. Here we have Yucca Pucks. These things used to bathtub toys when I was a kid. Real little kid. Let's see if there's a date on it. I can't quite make it up. Yeah, there's something.
Here, I'll try to make
85. It looks like it says 85. But yeah, I had Yucca Pucks. I had a puzzle. There's My Little Pony. Oh, an Animaniacs ice cream truck.
And when you wheel it, the ice cream comes up.
Go ahead and do it. Oh yeah, that's pretty neat. Look at this. If this still works, this is from the 1990s 12-inch G.I. Joe action figures. No, it doesn't. But you push this button, and that light in the front of the gun used to light up. An action figure. This was from, okay, it's like Sky Commanders or something like that. And these were so cool because these guys had planes that they would go in and vehicles and special backpacks that they'd go on. and you would basically hook strings going across the room, and you'd let them go on like these zip lines all the way across the room, and their vehicles would go on the zip lines and everything. These were awesome. I really used to have a good time with these. An old Louisiana license plate, yeah. Now, these were my blocks from when like I was a baby, basically. So talk about vintage. These are some, 40-year-old blocks right there. Okay, we have a canteen from, I believe, Johnny West. I could be wrong, but I think that's from. And Johnny West, if you don't know, it was a really cool Wild West action figure play set. Now, I'm seeing some other cool things down here. One at a time, though. These are wings. These went from the Ewoks playset. Now, these Ewoks, they weren't exactly like the Ewoks that were in the Star Wars movie. The Ewoks actually had the Star Wars animated series. And that's what these wings were to. They were to the Ewoks that were for that animated series. And right here, this guy was from Mad Balls. And I remember the Mad Ball would be his head. It would click on the top, and you would click this button there, and it would shoot up in the air. So we'll see if we can find that head and set this guy off. That would be pretty cool. I don't know what this guy is from, 1991, but if anyone remembers, please let me know. Okay, likewise, we have, this was from Star Wars, and this is one piece. This would go up on here, and this would go on here, and that's how it would go. And it would go actually on a kind of a thing like this, only it was a snow world. It was a snow scene. Let's see if there's anything in the top. Nope, nothing in the top. Oh, and we found a chicken nugget from McDonald's. That's what that is. And you would dress them up. They would actually dress up in costumes. Aww. Yep, they would have different costumes. Looking down here, I see there's a cassette tape. Okay, if anyone remembers Teddy Talkins, Teddy Ruxpin, this was from a Snoopy that did the same thing. You would put it in Snoopy, and his mouth would move, his ears would move, and he would read stories. Okay, this thing right here, yeah, hold it up. That was from a soccer game. It was a big soccer game that had all these guys on it, and they'd be out in the field, and you used to push the buttons to make them kick, and you try to get it in the goal. It was kind of like foosball, only the guys didn't move, they just kicked.
His leg's kind of a little stuck. I'm not going to force it, though, because, these are vintage.
And before my time, okay, we talked about Playmobil the other day. I did have Playmobil figures, but they were kind of hand-me-downs from my brothers. And this was them. It's from 1974 is when this Playmobil figure is from. So even before my time. I remember this bendy robot very well. Don't remember if he was to anything, but I remember playing with him as a kid. And here we have a 90s era G.I. Joe card. It looks like Duke, and he's looking at all the Cobra attacks. And on the back, what's it say? Duke plans his attack.
Look, I found the girl chicken nugget.
Oh, nice. Love the classic McDonald's toys. I really do. Now, speaking of classic McDonald's toys, I'm seeing some other ones here. This was a car that I believe Gonzo drove, and this was a car that Miss Piggy drove. This vest went on a knockoff He-Man figure, if I remember right. I think it might have been like a Hercules action figure. I don't know, but it was not like the actual Masters of the Universe.
Police Academy.
Yes, this is from Police Academy, and I saw the guy in there. Oh yeah, that is a 90s Barbie right there, for sure, 100%. Oh. But I saw the guy that this goes to, and let me see if I can find him before I highlight this thing. Here he is right here, okay? And this guy, he's from Police Academy, the animated series. He's also in the movie, and he used to make all kinds of sounds, right? Providing this still works, it used to be like a kazoo. Now we have a glowworm. Okay, I remember the glowworms. I had the big glowworm too that had the light in them, okay? There's some of these random things that are around here, like these flags. There's a catapult right here. It's from a game called Crossbows and Catapults, where these would have rubber bands on them. They're little discs that you would fire at each other's castles. And you'd build up rocks around the castle. These were the rocks that went around the castle. You'd build those up. These were the castles. And basically, once you broke through the wall and got to the castle, you won the game. Ninja Turtles candy dispenser. That's what that had in it. That's
a candy
Michelangelo with a nunchuck. Now I saw something over here that this is definitely something that is quite, you don't see this anymore, okay? If anybody knows Cookie Crisp, Cookie Crisp, it now has the dog, and if I remember, the dog is like Cookie Crisp, and he would howl. This is 1991. This is the burglar. This guy used to come and try to steal the cookies, steal the chocolate chip cookies from Cookie Crisp, and the cop would come after him. And before the dog, those were the mascots for Cookie Crisp.
Sounds like Santa Claus.
Yeah, except for he'd steal them. See, he's got all the cookies in his 1991 bag. And this one squirts water. How cool is that? You know, I see something else that's cool in here. It's this helmet. And this helmet, I saw a guy that goes with it over here. I don't remember what this guy was from. I remember you could put them together, take them apart. This was his helmet. He had a bald head, if I remember right. But I have no idea. All it says on the back is 1983, Remco, New York. So if anybody has any idea what this guy was, what collection he went with, I'd love to hear from you.
Look.
Tiny Toons.
It's an old Lego also.
That is a very old Lego, yes. That is a retro Lego right there. It's like a knockoff Lego, but it's very old. We've got a Skeletor Rod here, and I'm having trouble zooming in on it. There it is. But this is a Skeletor Rod. If anyone remembers, there was a He-Man series that came out in the 90s. And it was like a futuristic He-Man series around the time that the He-Man movie came out. And this was Skeletor's staff from that series, the 90s series. And those are some Civil War soldiers.
They're really small.
Yeah. This, I remember there was a guy, he was like a monster. And all these parts, it was like a puzzle. They're numbered. You would put them inside of him. I think there was slime that went in there. It was a pretty fun thing. 1986. Now here is a blast from the past. How these things are not still popular, I don't know. These are Zax. And remember with Zax, you could make all kinds of toys, all kinds of monsters and everything with Zax.
They have ones like that, but they're just big.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Zax. Man, that was cool. That was like a 90s thing. So we've got another piece of the monster there, right? That goes with that. And look at this. I remember getting these guys at a place called Dollar Discount, if I'm not mistaken, down at Kirkwood Shopping Center near Pathmark. This was Captain America's shield. And it's got a little holographic image on there that kind of shows him fighting somebody. I can't really make it out anymore. And this would actually open up. And the hologram, let's see if it still works. The hologram could turn around to something on the other side. So there it is, like Captain America jumping. And when you put it into the thing, is when you can really see it take place, because it's got little lines on this. So that's when you can really see it animate itself. So you found something. What's it say on the front of it?
Poppy.
Poppy. And I remember those things. They were these animals that you could stuff into tiny little places.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is his first time coming out in a long time. And look at that. If that is not a 90s puppy, I don't know what is. Look at his collar. Like, yeah, that puppy's got 90s written all over him.
But look at how cute that is.
1987. Fisher Price. That's who made these things.
You deserve a little hug.
Absolutely.
Since you've been in there so long.
Yes, you need some love.
Yes. It's so depressing that these toys have not been played for like 32 years or so.
It sure is. If this was Toy Story, these things would be pretty upset.
Yeah.
But look at this. Found this arm. So that's going to go on this guy. And we're going to see what other pieces we can find in here to put him together. Triple Flip, Curse of the Pyramid, Vampire Attack, Escape the Evil Castle. So it's got these little game pieces at the top. And Escape the Pyramid was the one that creeped me out. It's got that guy with the sunglasses looking up from behind there. But then we've got Vampire Attacks. And then Escape the Evil Castle. That one's kind of creepy too. So this is a very, like, retro game right here that you would play. And it's a good travel game. Just goes right in that little case and goes with you wherever you go.
Look at this. It's like metal. What is this?
All right, we've got E.T. Used to love these things. There's a couple different ones that we had. One with him with the towel holding the tape recorder. And then this one, where he's dressed up for Halloween. Now,
He is?
I forget, they dressed him like a woman for some reason. Maybe it was to take him to leave the house. I don't remember why they did that. Look at this, okay?
Ooh.
There's a Ninja Turtle. This was a Ninja Turtle action figure. I forget which one he was from. Maybe Ninja Turtles 3? I really don't remember this guy too much. But I know I have the action figure because there he is.
This guy's from...
We've got a broken G.I. Joe.
Look at this.
A vintage New York helmet. Yes, now this that you're looking at over here, okay? These cars, this was for another track that I had. And these cars, you would pull them back and let them go. I think.
Don't I have one like that?
I'm not 100% sure how these things would run. But I remember these. I remember the track that they went on. It wasn't the slot car track like this.
We should set these up tonight.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing this lady, and we're seeing pieces of buildings here. And if I remember right, this was actually from an Ultraman playset that I had.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. This was from one of the G.I. Joes. They had like the chem suit G.I. Joes. And this would fill up with water and it would hook up to one of his guns and you would squirt another guy and he would appear with like chemical stains on him. It was pretty cool.
What are these? I keep seeing these. Like, what are they?
Those are G.I. Joe's pants. It looks like Duke. Duke wore the Desert Storm camo back in the 90s. And the 12-inch G.I. Joe Duke would have worn these pants. Now, there's one back here that's different. This one, okay, this one is actually like an old G.I. Joe from like the 70s. And you can tell, look at the snaps on it. They're not Velcro. The newer ones, they have the Velcro. See these pants here? They have plastic snaps, yes, but then Velcro. These ones have the metal snaps. There's also a suit over here that is from a G.I. Joe. And you know what? If I remember right, this one didn't come with any G.I. Joe. It was like a uniform package that I bought separately.
There's his legs. Where'd you put him?
Oh, okay. There's a G.I. Joe's legs.
Where'd you put him?
He's over here somewhere. But I noticed something over here.
Yeah, I saw that dude.
The Fisher Price motorcycle guy. Here's the discs that would go with crossbows and catapults. That game that I mentioned earlier where you have to knock down the wall and try to hit the other person's castle. There were these ones, and then there were like purple ones with the skeleton on them.
It's like Ninja Turtles.
There's the purple one right there. There it is.
Look, it's a Ninja Turtles with a marble in its stomach.
Oh yeah, those were to a game, and I forget how the game went, but yep, those were to a game.
That's cool.
So I found this shield here, and this was they weren't He-Man figures. They were built the same way, but I think they were like Hercules. It was Hercules, if I remember right. At least that's what I was always told. My mom told me when I was a kid. I was probably too young to read the package. But this was from those figures. They weren't He-Man, but they were built the same way. And the shield would kind of clip on his arm. So I noticed something cool. This was from, I believe, the Wheeled Warriors. JC and the Wheeled Warriors. But I'm not 100% sure. And this was from it as well. There's like, this was the door to the vehicle and a little green guy would sit in there.
Oh, it's like wraps around his feet.
There's another shield from one of the He-Man-like figures. This is pretty cool. I mean, it would hook on his arm and pretty neat artwork on these shields, that's for sure. So here is quite a find. It is a mask ring. Masked Crusaders. Working overtime. Fighting crime. Okay, I used to have some of these action figures, and this was the mask ring. That's pretty cool. You can see it changed from the regular car into the battle thing that it turned into. Now, I talked about this guy earlier, the Sky Commanders, and I found this pack. And this pack clips on his back, and the cord that would go across the room would go through here. And he'd be able to wear this backpack and slide down zip line across the room. I remember having those things going from the dressers in my room down to the floor and all kinds of places all across the room there. Okay, so more of the wheeled warriors. Tonto's head, if I'm not mistaken. This was Tonto's head from the Lone Ranger. There's some kind of a Native American jacket that Tonto might have worn or someone wore. I don't know who. It happens to be Tonto's head. And this was actually a ninja jacket. This went on a guy. I remember he had like a white headband, I think, and a camouflage mask like this that would go over his head, and he was a ninja. I had him, and I had a red ninja that he would fight. I don't remember what collection they were from, though. Maybe it was Karate Kid.
So I got these chicken nuggets, and I guess they're from McDonald's. But you can dress them up and stuff?
Yeah, so these go on them. So you can take this, and you can put it right on him there, and let's see what it looks like. Yeah. That's a girl's hair sticking out the back of it, so it would go on her.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
And that's a boy hair?
I don't know, but it can go on him. Looks like a boy hair. Let's see what they look like. Turn them around this way. Yeah, there we go. Pretty cool.
360.
And last, not necessarily last, but because I'm seeing more things every time I reach down into here. But this is a Honeycomb Bracelet. This came in the Honeycomb cereal, and it was a Velcro bracelet that you could wear. It says Honeycomb on it. That's pretty cool. And I say not last because I just saw this, and I remember having a Superman dartboard that this Velcro dart would stick to. And it's a Superman dart. This is the final missing piece to something that I'm going to reveal in another video. Because if this thing still works, this is a classic. And if this still works, it's going to be slightly amazing. All right, so thanks for joining me up here in the attic. And there's so much more to look through. I'm going to take the Red Fox down and put some batteries. If I have some of these batteries, it's like C batteries. And if I do, I'm going to put them in there. And we're going to get this thing going. We're going to see if this thing still works after sitting up here in a box for about 30 years on this one, at least. Easy. So I'm eager to see what happens.